You are born into one of the most powerful families on earth. Your mother is Cleopatra, your father is Mark Antony. Together, they command enormous wealth, vast territories, and armies capable of reshaping the ancient world. Servants rush to obey your every command. Foreign rulers send gifts to your palace. Nobles bow their heads when your family passes. Everyone assumes your future is untouchable. How could it not be? But within a few years, your father will be dead, your mother will be dead, your kingdom will cease to exist, and you will be dragged through the streets of Rome as a living trophy for the man who destroyed your family. Most people know what happened to Cleopatra. Almost nobody knows what happened to her daughter. And yet the daughter everyone expected to disappear into history would accomplish something far more difficult than conquering an empire. She would survive one. Your earliest memories are filled with luxury. Marble floors, perfumed halls, gardens overflowing with fountains and rare plants gathered from across the known world. You never worry about food, never wonder where your next meal will come from. Never question whether tomorrow will be safe. You are a princess, and not just any princess. You are growing up in Alexandria, the greatest city in the Mediterranean. Ships crowd its harbor from sunrise until long after sunset. Merchants arrive from Greece, Africa, Arabia, and distant lands few Egyptians have ever seen. The legendary lighthouse towers above the sea. Scholars fill the libraries. Gold flows through the markets. The city seems eternal. So does your family. But empires rarely collapse all at once. They collapse in whispers. At first, the changes are subtle. Meetings become longer. Conversations become quieter. Messengers begin arriving at strange hours. Military officers move through the palace with growing urgency. Some nights, lights burn inside government chambers until dawn. You do not understand why. Children rarely understand politics, but they understand fear, and fear is beginning to spread through Alexandria. Far across the Mediterranean, the Roman world is tearing itself apart. Your father and Octavian are no longer allies, they are enemies. Both men know there can only be one winner. To ordinary people, it is a political struggle. To your family, it is a fight for survival. Surely your parents can win. Mark Antony is one of the greatest generals alive. Cleopatra rules the richest kingdom in the eastern Mediterranean. Together they seem unstoppable. Then the fleets sail. Hundreds of warships, thousands of soldiers. The future of your family moving toward a single battlefield. The Battle of Actium. Nobody realizes it yet. But an entire civilization is about to be decided in one afternoon. The reports arrive slowly, then faster. One ship lost, then another, captains retreating, formations collapsing, allies fleeing, rumors spreading faster than facts. Inside Alexandria, hope begins to unravel. Then the truth finally arrives. Octavian has won. The impossible has happened. From that moment forward, nothing feels the same. Officials who once crowded the palace disappear. Allies abandon your parents. Territories fall away. Confidence drains from every room. For the first time in your life, you see powerful people pretending not to be afraid. And that is when you realize the danger is real. The following months feel like watching a storm approach. Everyone knows what is coming. Nobody can stop it. Then disaster strikes. A rumor spreads through the palace. Cleopatra is dead. Nobody knows where the story begins. Nobody knows whether it is true, but somehow the news reaches your father, and Mark Antony believes it. For decades he has survived wars, conspiracies, betrayals, and political enemies. Yet the thought of losing Cleopatra breaks him. Believing the woman he loves is gone, he makes a terrible decision. He falls upon his own sword. The wound does not kill him immediately. Instead, he lingers, weak, bleeding, dying. Then the truth emerges. Cleopatra is still alive. The rumor was false. But by then, it no longer matters. Your father is carried to her. The man who once commanded half the Roman world can barely move. The general who terrified kingdoms can barely speak. And there, beside Cleopatra, Mark Antony dies. Just like that, he is gone. You do not fully understand death. Not yet, but you understand enough. The strongest man you have ever known will never return. And all the gold in Egypt cannot change that. Now only one parent remains, Cleopatra, but even she understands the truth. The war is over. Octavian is coming. Roman soldiers enter Alexandria. The city that once ruled kings is occupied by foreign armies. Officially, Cleopatra is still a queen. In reality, she is a prisoner. And prisoners rarely choose their own future. Then comes the final blow. The exact details remain a mystery more than 2,000 years later. Some believe a venomous snake was used. Others believe poison was carefully prepared in secret. Historians still debate the method. They do not debate the result. Cleopatra dies. For the second time in your young life, the world goes silent. First your father, now your mother. The two people who once seemed larger than life are gone. The dynasty that ruled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries vanishes with them. You have lost your family, you have lost your kingdom, you have lost your future, and you are still only a child. You and your siblings are captured. The children of Cleopatra become possessions of Rome. The voyage across the Mediterranean feels endless. Every mile carries you farther from Alexandria, farther from home, farther from everything you have ever known. Eventually, you arrive in Rome, a city larger than anything you imagined, crowded. Streets, towering monuments, endless noise. But you are not there as a guest. You are there as a symbol. Octavian is preparing his triumph, the greatest celebration a Roman commander can receive, a parade announcing to the world that all resistance has been crushed. Crowds flood the streets. Music echoes through the city. Treasures seized from Egypt are displayed before cheering spectators. Gold, stews, jewels, the wealth of a conquered kingdom. Then come the prisoners. People point, whisper stare. Many spent years hearing stories about Cleopatra. Now they are looking at her children, the last surviving pieces of a fallen dynasty. In that moment, you realize something painful. You are no longer a princess. You are evidence, proof that Rome won, proof that Egypt lost. Yet something unexpected happens. You live. History is filled with defeated royal families that simply disappear. Dead heirs cannot start rebellions. Dead heirs cannot reclaim kingdoms. Yet somehow you are spared. And you are placed under the protection of Octavia, the former wife of Mark Antony, the very woman your mother replaced. By every expectation, she should hate you. Instead, she raises you, protects you, educates you. History rarely produces ironies this remarkable. Years pass, the grief never disappears. How could it? You still remember Alexandria. You still remember your parents. You still remember the world Rome destroyed. But survival requires adaptation, so you learn. You study Roman customs, Roman politics, Roman power. You watch, you listen. You understand something many powerful people never learn. The people who survive history are not always the strongest. They are the most adaptable. Then slowly, your fortunes begin to change. You marry Juba II, another royal child who once lost everything to Rome. Together, you are sent to rule Mauritania in North Africa. Many assume you will simply serve Roman interests. Instead, you build. Cities grow, trade expands, art flourishes, libraries appear, monuments rise. You bring Egyptian, Greek, and Roman traditions together into something entirely new. For the first time since Alexandria fell, you are not merely surviving. You are governing, not as a prisoner, not as a trophy, but as a queen. The daughter of Cleopatra has become a respected ruler in her own right. And perhaps that is the greatest revenge of all. Octavian destroyed your kingdom, yet he could not destroy you. Most people remember Cleopatra because of how she died, dramatically, defiantly, immortally. But her daughter deserves to be remembered for something even harder. She lived while armies vanished, while kingdoms collapsed, while dynasties disappeared. She endured, she adapted, she rebuilt. Rome took her parents, Rome took her childhood, Rome took her homeland, Rome took the future everyone once promised her. But it never took her ability to survive, and in the end, the last princess of Egypt achieved something her enemies never expected. She transformed tragedy into legacy. She outlived the fall of her world. And from the ruins of a shattered dynasty, she built a new one. That is why, more than 2,000 years later, we still remember Cleopatra. But perhaps we should also remember Selene, because conquering a kingdom is impressive. Surviving its destruction is extraordinary.